Thomas, that's a great question that I wish I had an answer to. I don't know. Now, some of it I do think is when Alabama comes to these teams' places, it's the freaking Super Bowl. It is that school Super Bowl. Tennessee won't have another crowd like that for a long time until Alabama comes back in 2 years. Florida had a great crowd against like Utah, but that was like an unbelievable crowd. LSU always brings it. Like it is those teams Super Bowl and it is those players Super Bowl. Um, it's just incredible. I don't know. It's not coaching. Like, look, I'm not going to doubt Nick Saban. So I don't think it's coaching. But this year specifically, it's been penalties, and I don't know what's going on with that. That needs to be fixed. I think it's just some of these teams. It's their freaking Super Bowl, And now Tennessee won it, and now they're going to move on. Like Texas A&M, it was their Super Bowl. They were like 6-2 at the time. Like they weren't doing anything. I have seen some of them. Josh Heupel legitimately just is I mentioned all the great offensive minds. He's up there. Like he's a really good coach, and he's shown that. I'll become clean. And if you weren't here at the beginning of the show, we're here. I'm sorry for explaining it again. I remember it wasn't just me; it was a lot of people making fun of Tennessee for that hire because it was like, man, you can go out and get really anybody you want. You got Josh Heupel, the UCF coach. Like everyone thought. Everyone thought that UCF might have upgraded going from Malzahn or going from Heupel to Malzahn. Not the case. I always thought Heupel was, and I saw it at Mizzou, Heupel was a coach that when his teams are more talented, they're going to score all the points in the world, which is good at Tennessee because they're going to have more talent than most teams. But against like better teams, like for Tennessee, would be like Georgia, would be like Alabama, they're going to struggle. And that showed last year against Georgia specifically. He's just, he proved me wrong. Like, shoot, like he called a great game. Yeah, that's true. But when Alabama goes there, it's not going to be at 11 a.m. And the LSU fans are going to show up. They'd show up for that game. I remember that, but it was still felt like a weird hire. But you guys nailed it. Knocked it out of the park with Heupel. Sometimes it's the guys you go, whoa, that turn out to be the best. Team. They were undisciplined in the Texas game because they had 15 penalties. So I seen a discipline problem this year. I don't know what it is. But today, the penalties were ridiculous. The defense is just Tennessee's really good offensively. Oh, my God. Oh, my computer's not even that high in the battery anymore. I charged it. Oh, we've been going for an hour. Good for me. Good for you guys. Thanks for being here. This isn't fun without you. It is. I could talk to myself about college football all day. I like many of you. That's sick that you have a friend like that. I wish I did. I used to have one for a professional team, but he switched jobs. Anyway, I play NCAA and make up storylines in my own head about the AD getting on my butt because we lost a game to Tulane or whatever at UMass. So I could do college football all day, but having you guys here talk about it makes it much more fun. Why wasn't there an adjustment after the first big touchdown? Safety. Because Tennessee was running the ball. And when Tennessee was running the ball like that, Alabama couldn't cheat back and play strictly pass. Because they were getting cooked both ways. They were just getting beat. It happens to even the best of us. But they're because if Alabama cheats back and all of a sudden they're dropping 6 or 7 or 6, I wouldn't drop 7. If they drop 6, Tennessee's going to run the ball with no issue. And if they bring up, it's just one of those things. he couldn't get one-on-ones. He was getting double teamed. He was getting double teamed, and they just couldn't get him one-on-ones. And Tennessee's offense is still quick. He just couldn't. He was a non-factor. Like he's still probably he's not going to win the Heisman, but he's still probably the best player in college football. He'll be the number 1 pick in the draft. That's not a quarterback. But he was just a non-factor tonight because Tennessee made him a non-factor. I know it reminds me of the spread in the splits as far as it reminds me of the Big 12, like in 2007, 2008, because they were just blowing everybody away with their splits. To be rules in play. I mean, that's been a thing for, gosh, teams did that to Oregon in like the Dennis Dixon era, 2007. Dude, Will Anderson, yeah, he's the best defensive player probably in the country. He's going to be a top 3 pick. He's incredible. Just was a non-factor. Not based on stats or play. Aiden Hutchinson just had a really good Ohio State game, which is what we all noticed. But Will Anderson, like 10, like more tackles for a loss, more like he was insane. He's just great. He got turned into a non-factor today. You know, Aiden Hutchinson was a non-factor against like Michigan State last year. It's just because when a team can run the ball, pass rushers, what are they going to do? Like you can't just get them one-on-ones constantly, which they normally can with Will Anderson or Aiden Hutchinson last year, or any great defensive end. And Dallas Turner should be the beneficiary. There's the word I'm looking for of those play of the like Will Anderson just getting ganged up on. Aiden Hutchinson had more tackles for a loss than Will Anderson. Last year, he had 16 and a half tackles for a loss. Will Anderson, I'm pretty sure, had like 24. In 17 and a half. Yeah, no. I don't want to argue with you because that's just not fun because we're here to talk about this game. But Aiden Hutchinson last year had 16 and a half tackles for a loss. Will Anderson had 31. It wasn't close. Aiden Hutchinson had 14 sacks. Will Anderson had 17 and a half. So neither category did Aiden Hutchinson have more than Will Anderson. Neither category. But, you know, so enough about Will Anderson. He was just a non-factor today. Don't think it really means anything because he's still going to be a top 3 pick. He's an absolute he's probably the best player coming out. He was just a non-factor today. We spent a lot of time talking about him, but